All right, well, hi everyone. My name's Alper. I'm the Education Content Manager for CodeDay Labs this year. I hope you're all having a great day. It's my absolute pleasure to welcome back Cristina Nistor, who will be talking to you guys about being invaluable to companies and how to be a value-driven engineer in the CS and engineering industry. So, Cristina, if you'd like to introduce yourself a bit more, and then we can get started.
Thank you, Alper. Hello, everyone. Thank you again for having me here again. It is a pleasure to participate in your conferences, Alper, and I am very excited to be sharing part of my experience with the community. I'm Cristina Nistor. I was born in Romania. I studied computer science. And I started my venture in IT in Mexico more or less 17 years ago. Why Mexico, you may ask? I always loved to travel, but as a young graduate, I was broke. So when I got this internship to a Mexican company, well, my dream came true because I could travel on the other side of the world while working to finance my adventures, my travel adventures. And I became a digital nomad. I got to do skydiving in Isengard, in New Zealand, where Lord of the Rings was shot. I got to climb a volcano. I got to charge myself with energy on the Pyramid of Sun in Mexico. I got to hug an elephant. I got to circle the world in 90 days with modern means. And at the same time, I've been working on developing my professional career, and now I'm the director of operations at TESTCo. TESTCo, it's an US-based company that is focused on software testing. And at the same time, I founded Management Talks, management mentoring program that is aimed at helping first-time managers to improve their management skills. Today in this talk, I want to share with you some of the things that I learned over my 17 years of career, and some of the things that I learned the hard way. All right. So there are many people that believe that being irreplaceable is good. I myself fell into this trap a while back. When I started my career as a manager, I was a micromanager. I was very good at planning, organizing things, and coordinating people to get things done. But I didn't trust others to do it. I thought that other people were not capable of doing the things better than me. So I was thinking that, it was a waste of time to assign tasks to somebody else. They will not do it as I wanted. So at the end, I will end up doing it myself. So why bother? And at the same time, I had a strong belief that to have a secure job, I needed to make myself irreplaceable and be indispensable. So that drove me to keeping a lot of activities, I like the word responsibilities, to myself. But I had a dirty little secret. Irreplaceable means comes with some personal benefits, and let's see what were for me back then. All decisions depended on me. No one else knew how to do certain things but myself. So they depended on me to do those things. That gave me a feeling of power. I felt very significant. People needed me, right? Others depended on me. And I have to admit that I had a feeling of being superior, better than others. These benefits filled my ego, but all this came with a cost. I had to work extra, weekends, My husband was not happy with the situation. We were not spending enough time together. And I thought that that was okay because in my mind, I was, sacrificing myself for the greater good. At the end, without me, things could not get done. And somebody, had to do it. Somebody had to save the day. So I was kind of, in my mind, I was the one saved the day. And in reality, and this is the little secret, I was doing all this from a preservation instinct. If someone came around who could do what I was doing, I felt that my job was threatened. I was doing all these things with personal benefits and with the personal cost. I was willing to pay the personal cost, but I was not realizing that I was digging myself into a hole. Later in my career as a director of operations, I realized just because I was thinking I was indispensable, it did not mean I had a secure job. Because having people like that in a company is not good for business because they are limiting the growth of the company and they create bottlenecks in the operation. What is a bottleneck? Think about a bottleneck as place in a 5-lane highway where the road suddenly becomes narrow and traffic slows down or even stops, causing traffic jams. Such bottlenecks slow things down and can even limit the growth of a company. A while back, we had a colleague, let's name him Anton, that he was the only one who knew how to do certain activities for a certain client and certain reports. And one time, while he was on vacation, the client asked for those reports. Of course, no one knew what to do. So we had to, we called this person, Anton, to get, his guidance, how to do the things. And he refused to attend us. We hustled as a team. We finally figured out, but something that usually was done in a couple of hours, now it took us a couple of days to actually get done. We did it. We delivered, but with lots of hassle and complaints from the customer. So no one felt good about the situation. To prevent this from happening to me again as a manager, of course, my next action was get several people trained on how to do those activities. And when this person came from vacation, even if he was jealous about the information, he didn't want to share it with nobody, right? He wanted to be indispensable. I drove things to get several other people trained, and a few months later, this person was let go precisely because he was not part of the team. He was not supporting the team. He was, not helping everybody to achieve the team's goals. So it's not good for the company to have such people in the team. Actually, a second angle to look at this is a company risk. Actually, it has a name. It's called concentration risk. Another example of such situation, bottlenecks that were represented company risk and limited companies' growth. We had a client like, I don't know, 4 years ago, and it was a big client, 9 development teams, and with a very complex product, very complex infrastructure. They had a release team formed of 4 people. And because of the complexity of the application and of the infrastructure, the level of knowledge needed to be able to fill in such a position was quite complex, and to be able to train a person to fill in such a position usually took about 6 to 1 year. So having this team of 4 engineers being the only one who could do this work represented a very high risk for the company. Just imagine one person, if it got sick, all the pipeline for the release got stuck, and delays in the company got in situations where they could not fulfill the promises to their customers because of this situation. And of course, the management team decided to mitigate this risk and implemented the DevOps and automated a lot of this release process. And of course, it took about a year and a half to get this done, but with the help of all the teams, by the end of this time, they successfully created an automated pipeline that basically eliminated this concentration risk. And what does this tell us is, a company cannot have such a huge risk of losing customer or delivering late on the promises. Sometimes, with the deadlines, there are associated penalties. So this risk could actually represent a lot of loss in revenue for companies. So being irreplaceable gives you a false sense that your job is secure. But in reality, what happens behind the scene is that effective managers work actively to eliminate such bottlenecks and reduce such risks. But if you should not make yourself indispensable, then how are you going to distinguish yourself? Don't be replaceable. Don't be indispensable. Be invaluable. Become a value-driven professional. In the business world, companies, the reason that companies exist is because they are adding value to their customers. Their products, their services are important to their customers. And the way the companies compete, distinguish themselves, is in the value that they add to their customers. So the companies hire people that can generate more value to them and to their customers. There are 5 characteristics to a value-driven professional. They add value in everything they do. They take ownership and accountability. They solve problems. They don't create problems. They set and achieve goals and adopt a growth mindset. So let's go one by one and see, what does this mean? To be able to understand what it means to add value in everything you do, we need to understand the concept of value. Value is generated when benefits exceed the price. For example, if you buy Tesla stock, you are paying a price for a certain amount of shares, and you are hoping that the value of those shares increase in worth. So when you will sell them later, you make more money, at least more money than the rate of inflation. Right? The same applies for companies and employees. Companies hire people that through their work generate more value for their customers. So customers pay them in return. You want to see yourself as an investment that companies are making in order to get themselves a return. And over my experience, what I've noticed is that people who thrive in their careers are people who are obsessed with giving people great return on their investment. It feels a bit inhuman, because it seems that we are reduced to dollars. But the reality is that in the business world, this is how we are seen. And actually, that is not such a bad thing, because you get to control your economic value. Nobody else gets to do it. You control it. Every paycheck that you get, it's an investment that someone has made hoping to get a return on their investment. And if you understand that and you focus on adding value, I mean, huge value, like 10x value, in everything you do, your career will be just fine. Let's think about what does that mean in our context, right? In software development or IT world. Generating more value, it means the ability to solve bigger problems. That paycheck, people are not paid just for what they do. They are paid for the size of the problem they can solve. You will make more money if you solve bigger problems for more people. If you are a better investment, the company will be willing to pay you more. So be obsessed with give people a great 10x return on their investment. And add value in everything you do. The next characteristic is take ownership and accountability. Value-driven professionals do not play the role of a victim. In any story, you have several, you have the victim, but you have the hero, you have the guide, you have the villain, you have several characters in a story, and each one has it has its value in the story. However, if you look, the hero is the one who goes and saves the victim and kills the villain with maybe the help of a guide, and at the end is the one who saves the day. Playing the victim role, it's the victim is there to make the hero look more heroic. It's the person that needs to be saved. So on one side, playing the victim role has benefits because people around you pity you, because you are a victim, you cannot do things yourself. And someone else has to jump in and help you. You don't have to take responsibility for the things. The problems are someone else's fault. And when something is difficult, someone else gets to do it. All those are benefits, but at the same time, there is a downside. Sooner or later, others will get tired because they already know the game and they will start avoiding you. Having victims in a team, it's exhausting. So refuse to play the victim, take initiative, own the problems, and take responsibility for solving them. Remember, the bigger the problem you solve, the bigger your value. A hero in a story takes ownership and accountability despite the problems. The more you overcome them, the more heroic the story will be. Just imagining the story of Frodo in the Lord of the Rings. How would that story evolve if Frodo played the victim role. Even when he was afraid, he had doubts, and he was ill-prepared for the challenge, he did not resign. He did not blame the world. He embraced the challenge, and at the end was successful and lived a big transformation. What does it mean to take ownership at work? Well, taking ownership, it's about taking initiative. We take ownership when we believe that taking action is not somebody else's responsibility. Even when you are, working with other people, you are responsible for the quality and timeliness of the outcome. It does not mean that you have to own the project as, a project manager. And it doesn't mean you should not involve other people, but it does mean you have an obligation to the result of the team. And you have an obligation to act on items that impact those results. Maybe, you have an excellent idea on how to save time for the team, or maybe you don't have enough time to finish all the work that you have on your plate. You maybe that you don't have the resources to complete the tasks, or the fix lies somewhere else in the organization. In all these situations, taking ownership, it means that you are bringing your idea or the situation forward to somebody who does have the time or resources to act, to get it done. Basically, taking ownership tells others that they can trust you to do the right thing. And it's a choice. Being accountable is not just about being a responsible person. It is about being responsible for the result. If ownership is about taking initiative, accountability it's about follow through. It's not just about your goals or your commitments. It's about acknowledging that your actions affect other team members' ability to accomplish their tasks, their goals. So when you say, I've got this, accountability means that you will deliver as promised on time within budget. It also means that you are coming forward when you fell short. If you cannot deliver on time, or the result will not be as strong as you hoped, well, be honest and proactive with your communication about the situation. Because at the moment you will do this, being forthcoming, you are showing that you respect the impact you have on your teammates. This is a major factor in building trust. Being accountable tells others that they can trust you to do what you said you are going to do. The third characteristic of value-driven professionals is that they solve problems. Problems are generated in different situations, but mostly they kind of fall in these lines. Victims are a problem. We already discussed about this. Value-driven professionals are not victims. Victims do not take ownership, do not want accountability. Somebody else must do the things for them, and instead of helping the team, such a person slows it down. It drains the energy of the team. So avoid such value-driven professionals. They avoid being the victims. What is drama? Drama is an overreaction. It is all about attraction. It's all about attracting attention to yourself. But if attention is focused on you, it's not on the objective of the team and of the company. So when when somebody makes drama, it has the benefit of attracting the attention of the whole team and others, but the cost is that they do not receive respect and trust, because people get tired of drama queen. They learn the game and they are like, it's overreacting. Another way of generating problems could be problems related with time, material, rework, defects, basically waste, right? If you are wasting time, if we are wasting materials, if we are doing, the work so and so, and you will have to rework everything you did, defects, all these are waste that can generate problems, with the timeline of the project, with the budget of the project, with successfully delivering on time. So value-driven professionals basically look to eliminate waste and be efficient with their work. Their focus actually lies somewhere else. They are problem solvers. So if you're given a difficult problem to solve, you should be happy because you are more trusted. You worth more to the team and to the company. These kind of people are not afraid of challenges. Whatever, what is a challenge? It's whatever comes between you and solving the problem. And value-driven profession, they just, get to focus on solving the problems and don't deviate into victims, drama, and they look to be efficient with their how they solve the problems. They engage in challenges and expect conflict. It is quite common that in the work environment, you will notice that many people are afraid of conflict and they avoid it. However, conflict is natural. We actually face conflict very often, unfulfilled expectations, a vendor did not deliver on time, low performance from one of the teammates, miscommunication, misunderstanding. Actually, this miscommunication, misunderstanding, the bigger the team, the higher the probability you will have miscommunication in the team. So conflict, it is something that is very common in projects, at work, in the day-to-day activities. Conflict does not necessarily have to be related to people. It can be related to budget, to deadline. It's just the perspective here that I want you to get is that it's a natural byproduct of collaboration, of progress. So here, instead of avoiding it, it's better to learn how to deal with conflict in the right way, how to be calm during stressful situations, how to de-escalate tension and get things done. It is not bad. It's just this natural byproduct of progress. When things get complicated regarding conflicts increase when our ego steps in, and we get hijacked by our own emotions. When you want to control people or prove that you are right, rather than have an open mind to others' ideas, it is usually this conflict increases. If you let your emotions to drive you, to me, it happened that I get angry and I stop reasoning and stop thinking about the impact of my actions and emotions on other people. And I had to learn. I had to put a trick in my mind. So I catch myself when I go on this bad road. And basically what I do is ask myself, what if they're right? So this question stops me of going on this emotional roller coaster and brings me back to being more rational and listen more to the people before I make a decision and I act. Bottom line, don't wish that there is no conflict. Wish that you become better at handling the conflict. All right, so let's move on. The fourth characteristic is that value-driven professional, they're very good at setting and achieving goals. In order to generate value, you need to clearly understand the problem that needs to be solved and what the goal is. If you stay just at the level of symptoms, it is highly probable that you might solve the wrong problem. So it's very important for you to actually understand deep what is the actual root cause of the problem, so you solve the right thing. To help you get clarity, you can use the SMART goals, because this format, SMART, actually helps you to get clarity. SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. And when you need to analyze and clearly specify each for each attribute what the answer is, in that thinking you get more clarity of what actually needs to be solved and what needs to be the goal that needs to be achieved. Once you have a clear goal, do the plan and clearly define how are you going to achieve that goal. You probably heard of a famous quote of Winston Churchill. He who fails to plan is planning to fail. Now, the value is not in the plan you create. We all know that most plans fail when you put them in practice. The value is actually in the thinking process that you put behind the plan. It's in the planning. What are the activities that you have to do? What are the resources that you have at your disposal? What could go wrong? Basically, what are the risks that you might face, and how can you mitigate those? Who's your team? What are the competencies of your team? Who are your stakeholders? What are the expectations of your stakeholders? All this planning, all this questioning is going to lead you to create a strong plan. And once you have a plan, now you can act on it. Because a beautiful goal, smart or not, and a great plan, are useless without action, without actually getting things done. And you need to be disciplined about executing the plan. If you would like to know more about this topic, I have another talk that I gave on a different conference about achieving your goals, where I dive deeper into how to establish SMART goals and create such plans. The next characteristics of value-driven professionals is that they adopt a growth mindset. Carol Dweck, it's a professor at Stanford University, is the author of the book called Mindsets. She coined the term. And in her studies, she discovered that there are basically two kinds of ways of looking at personal development and actually the vision of the world in general. People that have growth mindset and people that have a fixed mindset. So let's look a little bit deeper into this. I shared with you at the beginning of my talk that I used to be a micromanager. And I worked very hard at becoming irreplaceable and indispensable, convinced that that was the way to become successful. And when I read the Dweck's book, I knew instantly which mindset I had. I realized why I'd always been concerned about mistakes and failures, why I became a perfectionist. And I had success in my career. However, over the time, fear installed that if I don't work hard enough and demand perfection from myself and my team, my work will be mediocre. And that was a hard feeling and emotion to live with. Dweck says that when you enter a mindset, you enter a new world. Well, in one world, the world of a fixed traits, success is about proving you are smart and talented, and constantly about validating yourself. While in the other world, the world of evolving qualities, it's the growth, constant growth, it's about stretching yourself. It's about developing yourself. In the world of a fixed mindset, failure, it's about having a setback, getting a bad grade, losing a game, getting fired, getting rejected. All these mean that you are not smart enough or talented enough. While in the other world, failure, it's about, not growing at the moment, not reaching the things you value, not fulfilling your potential yet. In one world, effort is bad because, just like failure, if you are not smart enough and talented enough, that's when you need more effort. Otherwise, it should be easy. While in the other world, the effort is just the what needs to be done to get to be smarter or to get to be more talented. And a beautiful discovery that Dweck made is that it's actually a choice, because mindsets are just beliefs. They are powerful beliefs because they shape our world, but they are just something in our mind, and we can change our mind. As we continue with this presentation, I would like you to think about where you would like to go and which mindset will take you there. Let's dive into fixed mindset. People who possess this kind of mindset think that their identity, their intelligence, personality, that the character can never change. They were born with it. Having been told things, words like, you are good at this is not your thing, or being praised for how smart they are, and scolded for mistakes by the parents or by the teachers, let them to have such a mindset installed. It is easy to spot these kind of people because they use these kind of phrases. I don't do well at math. I'm not good at this. I'm good at that. And they actually believe that if they are not good at math, they cannot change that. They cannot improve. It is human nature. We all want to be successful. We all want to look good. And we will do lots of things to avoid looking bad. And looking smart is crucial. And these kind of people avoid situations that could prove otherwise. So, for example, criticism. They do not like to hear criticism. They become defensive or even aggressive because they do not believe they can fix this. And it's actually personal. It means that their supposed perceived abilities are not good enough. And they don't want to show that. In their mind, failure is a direct proof of not being smart enough. And out of defense, they can play the victim role or blaming others or create drama to drive attention from people seeing that they are not smart enough. Likewise, they do not like to try new things because there is the risk that they will not be good at it and their ability will be compromised. So they stick to what they know, and when asked to change things, they will likely oppose it, or you will need to work hard to convince them to do a change. And for the same reason, uncertainties will make them very nervous. When surrounded by other successful people, they tend to feel threatened. On the other hand, people with a growth mindset believe that they can improve and do anything they want to do. They put their mind to it, and with enough hours and enough effort, they will achieve it. And they're constantly evolving and believe that your true potential is unknown and you just have to, work hard. They receive feedback like, I can tell you've tried hard, or you will need to work more. And this kind of feedback influence in creating such a mindset. You will spot them because instead of saying, I do not know, or I do not do math well, they will say, I've not studied math enough to become good at it, or I need to work more on my math. They like to learn because learning is the key to growth, and growth is the key to success. So they will welcome all the opportunities to learn, will take new challenges and confront uncertainties without fear of failing. They learn from their failures rather than letting failure name them. It's quite interesting. In one of the studies that Carol Dweck did, they did scan the brains while people were dealing with failures, and in the mind of the fixed in the images for the fixed mindset people, the brain didn't show so many connections versus the people that displayed the growth mindset. In the images, you could see all those connections between the neurons that were happening, all the synapses in the brain, and all those new pathways in the brain that were being built. It's quite fascinating. So these kind of people learn from all the opportunities, and the criticism from them, they don't take it personal. They just take it as feedback and a way for them to learn, and they just don't get emotional or upset about it. In addition, they value effort because they are convinced that that's the best way to learn and become better. They look to be surrounded by people that are more talented or with innate abilities because they get inspired and even seek mentorship from them. So working with someone with a fixed mindset, they avoid challenges, they give up on when there are obstacles. Effort is an endeavor that they avoid. They don't want to do so much effort. So it's hard to work with them. It's exhausting to have such people in a team, and that's why value-driven professionals avoid this or learn how to catch themselves when they fall into such a world of a fixed mindset. Dweck studies have shown that one is not born with a certain mentality, but it's something acquired. And we can have a growth mindset in one aspect of life while having a fixed mindset at a different aspect of life, for example, at work, which means that it's actually good because it means that it's something that is in our power to change. And it's just a matter for us to choose to have a growth mindset and transform ourselves as a person. And if we fall into the fixed mindset, catch ourselves and pull ourselves out of that back to the growth mindset. It's just a matter for us to learn all those triggers to catch ourselves when that's happening, and have the make the decision to move back to a growth mindset. Why is this relevant in our context? Because nowadays, all the great companies no longer look only for technical skills. They all want people with a growth mindset. Why? Because these people believe that they can change anything, they can achieve anything, they can tackle challenges, and they don't run from them. And their constant learning process and their focus on, as a value-driven professional, focus on adding value to whatever they do, adds a lot of value to the company. And in our world of constant evolution of technology, we look for these kind of people, so we can constantly look for innovate on things, looking forward on how to achieve things, and not fall behind. My mentor, Jeff Hotz, a person I respect a lot, and he's a great businessman, once told me, if you learn from a mistake, that learning becomes an asset. It's an investment. But if you do not learn from it, you've wasted an opportunity. So basically, it's wasted money. With this kind of mindset this is how business people and all business owners think. So no wonder that people with growth mindset are more successful in life. In summary, the 5 characteristics of value-driven professionals is that they add value in everything they do. They take ownership and accountability. They solve problems, they don't create them. Set and achieve goals, and adopt a growth mindset. Here I have 3 books that I recommend you to read, to go deeper in all the concepts we've seen in this presentation. Donald Miller, Business Made Simple, very easy to read his book. Mindset by Carol Dweck, and Nonviolent Communication by Marshall Rosenberg. I believe that these 3 books will give you the deeper knowledge and help you understand all the concepts that I presented here in my talk. Well, that's all from my side for the moment. Thank you very much. Alper, if there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you so much, Cristina, for the wonderful talk and for all of the tips. I bet a lot of people in the audience appreciated them. Yeah, if anyone has any questions, please put them in the Q&A. We'll wait like 2 more minutes until the end of the talk. So maybe to get the conversation started, Cristina, if you have one last piece of advice outside of being a value-driven engineer and all of the tips that you gave already, for people who are in college right now and kind of starting to look for ways to kickstart their career in the engineering and CS industries, what advice would you give? Like the most important thing that you think they should try to do on this path?
As early as they can, get themselves exposed to working in companies, maybe internship, to get themselves exposed to working in a team, dealing with problems, and learning how to solve them, and stretching themselves to get more complex problems to solve, because in our brain, every time we solve a bigger problem, every time we overcome a challenge, a new synapses happens between neurons, and our brain grows with every challenge, every problem that we solve. And that, as we saw in our talk, increases our value as professionals, but also we grow more as our abilities, mental abilities. So get yourself out there, exposed, and surround yourself with people that are growth mindset and are willing to share their knowledge and learn from them as much as you can.
Thank you so much, Cristina. Okay, I believe there aren't any questions. If you have any questions, please get them in. But if not, I believe that will be the end of our talk for today. So thank you so much again, Cristina, for the wonderful talk and all the tips and for answering my question. We truly appreciate it. It's great to have you back again.
Thank you, Alper. I'm happy to be here and sharing a little bit of my experience with the community.
Thank you.
I hope it
Have a
was
great day, everyone.
useful. Take care.
Thank you so
Bye.
much. Bye.